How can I, M46, make sure my new roommate 20SF is comfortable in my house? Male late 40s, currently in the process of divorcing my wife. We have one son in college. She's moving out and I'm keeping the house. It's a 4-bedroom with just me left, so I'm renting out one of the rooms. I've moved into the spare bedroom and I'm renting out the master bed and bath. My new tenant is a woman in her 20s who's moving in next week. Seems nice enough, but I've only met her twice. It'll just be the two of us in the house, although my son may spend part of the summer here. Largely I just wanted to get an outside perspective on how to handle this situation, to avoid accidentally coming across as uncomfortable or creepy. Especially if any women had advice, or anything that I should avoid. Thanks. Too long didn't read. Trying to make a new roommate situation comfortable for everyone. Edit. Thanks everyone for your advice. Have read all of them. I have installed a key lock on the inside door and I wasn't planning to steal her underwear. WTF, that guy. So hopefully everything should work out. I think that for the first few weeks while she's getting settled in, I wouldn't approach her about anything unless it's necessary for household reasons, bills, supplies, etc. After that, I'd follow her lead on how much interaction she initiates, and that will tell you how much interaction she's comfortable with. It's nice that you're very concerned about making her comfortable. I would recommend remembering that she's your tenant first and foremost, not an Insta friend. You don't have to socialize or include her in stuff right off the bat. That goes both ways. Keep things cordial but professional. As you get to know each other, you may find you have enough in common to grow a friendship, but it's business first. First of all, the fact that you're thinking about this now and trying to be proactive about it tells me you are probably fairly self-aware and most likely won't do things that most people would find creepy. Women have such vastly different ideas about the things that can feel uncomfortable, so take it with a grain of salt. But for me, I always found it uncomfortable when men would walk around shared living spaces without shirts on, or in boxers. That's one of the only things I can think of that could be seen as fine to some but would personally make me a little uncomfy. I agree with the advice to be friendly and approachable, but also to leave her alone and let her drive how much interaction she is comfortable with. Many years ago, when I first moved to the city I am in, I rented a basement apartment from a man. He was upstairs and going through a divorce. I only lasted maybe 3 months. The reason I left was exactly that. I felt like I was being watched. I dreaded leaving to do groceries or coming home from work because he would see my car pull up and he always had something to say. Always. Something about the laundry machine. Something about some mail I received. Something about how I parked. Something about, don't know. Just always something. The last straw was when he asked me to make sure my candles weren't left burning when I left the house. I'm not a candle kind of woman. I don't own any. But he insisted that when he looked through the window one time, he saw a candle burning, a reflection of some sort. No idea what he thought he saw. I moved out shortly after that. I don't know why he thought it was appropriate to look into my living space. So, yes. Just be sure you are always dressed. Respect her privacy and her need for space and independence. Don't assume she always wants to chat or hang out just because she is around. Just the fact that you posted, demonstrating that you are aware, is very encouraging. It sounds like you are self-aware, so that will likely help a ton. My 36M husband wants me to blindly trust him, 33F, after he cheated on me. My husband and I have been married for 4 years and we have a son. Our relationship hasn't been good lately. We didn't fight, but he would ignore me. He would tell me he wants to unwind after work, so don't talk to him, and he wouldn't even respond when I said good morning or tried to talk to him in the morning. It was like I was invisible. A week ago I found out that he's been cheating on me because a friend of mine saw him with another woman in the park kissing. My husband admitted it's been been going on for a year and that it's his co-worker. He did say he wants to work on our marriage and I agreed. However, he has not been more engaging and ignores me just like before. Last night he saw me crying and he told me I should trust him since we've both committed to a new start. But how can I blindly trust him if he's still ignoring me? Too long didn't read. I want to work on our marriage but my husband doesn't understand my feelings. Do you want your son growing up to think this is an acceptable way to treat a partner? Your husband is not committed to you or your marriage. I'd say go to couples counseling, but I think you responded to another comment saying he won't. If he won't commit to couples counseling, he's not interested in fixing the relationship. Leave him. You and your son deserve so much better. What is there to trust? Being upset that he's treating you badly isn't about trust. You could trust him 100%, although I would not, since you know he's untrustworthy, and you still would have every reason to have a problem with him treating you badly. So, he both should earn back your trust and tell you his plan for fixing the relationship. If he doesn't have one, then he's not serious about doing so. He has no interest in this marriage, but he's very much interested in not having to go through a divorce. Please respect yourself and leave. There is no marriage left to work on. He just wants you to sit down, shut up and let him continue to sleep with his coworker. He told me I should trust him since we've both committed to a new start. No. What he means is leave me alone so I can go fuck whomever I want while you stay home and be the official woman. He might even use your son as a tool for that. In a don't nag me in front of the child. You wouldn't want him to hate us way. Look, you can try couples counseling like another person said. But the truth is that your husband has been lying to you for at least a year, and has been cheating on you with at least one woman. For at least a year. He's been making the conscious decision to choose another over the woman he promised to be his number one. He's been consciously choosing to leave both his wife and his son behind to get his dequette. Think about that and you'll see how little he cares about and respects you both. Do you want that kind of man in your and your son's life as a role model? He doesn't show interest in you or your relationship, and you can't force him to do it either. Would you even be satisfied at all if you forced him into staying with you when he was making it clear he wants the opposite? My advice would be to get your support system in place, family, friends, and talk to a lawyer to see what options you have to separate from this man. Of course he wants you to blindly trust him. It makes his future cheating so much easier. My 27F partner, 33 meters, went out with his female friend, 33F, alone drinking all night and it made me uncomfortable. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend went out drinking into the early hours of the morning with a female friend. I don't know what I should do. Hello Reddit, I, 27F, have a partner, 33 meters, who we will call Ben and I have been with for over 2 years. Ben has a friend, 33F, who we will call Steph. Ben and Steph had become friends before he and I met. According to Ben, he and Steph would often hang out at each other's houses a few times a week. Often they got drunk together, sometimes do some weed or coke. It's definitely a different lifestyle to me, but that is besides the point. Apparently, nothing romantic has ever happened between the two of them. Around the same time I started dating Ben, Steph also met a man. We all got together for a double date, and even though I tried to be warm and welcoming to Steph all night, because I knew she was an important friendship of Ben, she didn't want a bar of me and only engaged in limited conversation with me all night. It was very obvious and even Ben noted this. After that, Steph moved in with her new man, and she suddenly disappeared from Ben's life. About 5 months ago, Steph suddenly is single and wants to be hanging out with Ben just like she used to do. She also doesn't want to make the effort in being friends with me and would rather Ben and Steph hang out, just the two of them. I am obviously uncomfortable with this as we had recently moved in together and Ben had become very serious about our relationship and future plans. At this point, I had learned a few things about Steph. She would often cheat, or had often slept with male friends who were in relationships, and I had a changed opinion about how supportive I would be of their friendship. It took some time, but I grew more open to the idea of her coming back into our lives as I realized it would be unreasonable to be so controlling of my boyfriend. Ben would do small catch-ups with her and was open about their friendship. Eventually, I said I was comfortable with him going out on the town with just Steph and having one of their old drinking nights. The only condition I had was to please be back by midnight. I wanted him to show me I could trust them together. Ben said yes and would send me a courtesy text once the night grew old to tell me how he was traveling. Eventually, the night rolled around. Ben kissed me goodbye around 6 p.m. and went on his merry way. I watched a couple of movies, made myself dinner, and made it a night in with the dogs. I didn't hear a peep from Ben, and when 11:30 p.m. hit I sent him a text to ask what time he was aiming to be home. Ben later replied that he was still drinking. Again, I asked what time he thought he would be home, and got the same response. After 12:30 I eventually said it was making me uncomfortable that he had crossed a boundary with me and was being so blasé about it. I went to bed and Ben turned up back at home after 1:30 a.m. and slept in a separate bed. The next day I was up early and was doing my normal life admin in the house until around 12 p.m. Ben had been up for hours but had locked himself in our spare bedroom downstairs. I confronted him about what he did the night before and told him it crossed a boundary with me, as he knew very well that I didn't feel fully comfortable with Steph. This broke out into a big fight and it's left me feeling clueless where to go from here. The argument opened up a can of worms where Ben stated that this fight made him not want to ever consider marrying me in the future, have kids, or ever consider taking it to the next level and saving up for a house together. This was something we had been discussing recently. This obviously broke my heart and now I am at a crossroads with how I should respond to the situation. After all this time I had built up being more comfortable with Steph and I felt that he had recklessly broken that trust. On the other hand, I know that I can't control who his friends are and can't ask him to cut her entirely out of his life. Reddit, I can always count on you for your words of wisdom. Any advice? They say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Don't need to deconstruct that for you. However, this is absolutely unacceptable. Either he comes clean and changes his ways to develop a much stronger foundation with you, or you leave him. I understand 2+ years is a decent amount of time to establish a meaningful relationship, but he should know better, being 33, when to limit his outside friendships with his other friends, be it men or women. I would keep a sharp eye on Steph too. Although you may have heard things about her, it's best to see and hear the real truth by yourself. Also, being a good friend of Ben, Steph should respect his relationship with you and know her limits too. One tiny thing you should also keep a check on: don't confront until you catch him red-handed. I understand you were already upset deep down inside when he left home at 6 p.m. but you kept your cool until he decided to come home late, lock himself in another room till late afternoon the next day and blow things out of proportion when he fought with you. Still, you knew very well he was definitely hiding something. So you should be tactful. Stay strong and be smart. Stay safe and good luck. I hope things turn out for the better for you. To me, the fact he has become so defensive and turned this into an attack against you is a red flag. He agreed to be home by 12, then completely disregarded it and took the fact that you tried to enforce this agreement/boundary as a reason you may not have more of a future together. Is he going to use your potential future together against you every time he doesn't get his way again in future too? To be frank, yes, you can't control who he sees, is friends with, but it sounds like you've made an effort to come to a compromise. I wonder if he'd take the same approach for you, the same courtesy if the situation were reversed. I can't tell you what to do next, only recommend that you consider your own self-worth, boundaries and feelings, and not fall for any sunk cost fallacy. You're still young and have many years ahead than what you've invested so far.